Well, hello and welcome back to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co-host Tracy. Ma'am, you said you were sick this summer. You said you wasn't feeling
Listen,
well,
I am
and you came back
recuperating.
looking
I'm
fabulous,
re-energizing myself. I'm getting
fabulous.
myself back to
You feeling better?
I'm getting there. I'm
Yeah.
honestly I what I'm working on right now is like stamina. Oh, hey y'all. But what I'm working on is just like staying energized. So I'm taking like 7 vitamins right now, just trying to get myself like back to where I was before, like my energy level before. Like I went out last night
Mm-hmm.
and I slept for like 12 hours today.
Well, you went out, you had a good time. I had a kid sleepover for my granddaughter's 10th birthday.
Hey, happy
I,
birthday,
y'all see
Autumn.
me and you see her. You see me, you see her.
I had one cocktail last night. That was enough.
I,
Because I haven't been drinking either,
oh,
so
that's good.
I was wiped. I was
Mm-hmm,
wiped.
hmm. Yeah,
But
those kids wiped me
it
completely
sounds
out.
like fun though. 10 is such a great age.
Yeah, she was very happy. She went to Sky Zone. She went to Build a Bear, which she did not build a bear. Did not want to be. She was not interested in that.
Okay.
We had like her little cousins and friends come over, so it was good. It was good. I'm glad she enjoyed it. So yeah.
Yeah.
But we are glad to be back. This is a very short episode. We're just coming back to let you know that we will be back full time
Yes.
next week, which is the 13th of October.
Mm-hmm.
We had a long break and hiatus, and we did say that we had some interesting guests coming up, and we are working on that. There's quite a few things that we want to accomplish this second season. I mean, we made it to a second season, which is great. And I don't think we had too many hardships, or I think we had a really great first season. But there's things that
Yeah.
we had set out to accomplish that we didn't, and we're going to work hard on doing those things.
Okay, you're being mad humble. We had a dynamic first season. Okay, we are an award-winning podcast. Okay, we have some of the best Rhode Islanders
We
interviewed on
did.
our podcast, and we're just getting warmed up. Y'all ain't even ready for what's happening in season 2. Like we have household names come in season 2. At least they're definitely Rhode Island household names. But I like
Distinguished
honestly
people in
for
Rhode Island.
for a first season, I think we did damn
I
good. And
think
we
we
stuck
did
to our schedule
great.
too.
I think we did great, and I think we are going to do even better than that great. So I'm just very excited, to be back and to get back on, our podcasting schedule. There's a lot going on. I mean, Tracy and I were just discussing that it's what now 29 days before, the election, fall. Really, autumn came in like gangbusters. I mean, we went from August 31st to September 1st, and September 1st said, "Hey,
So
we dropping leaves and we
sunset, I
dropping
think
temperatures
sunset was at 6:22 today. It's
today."
it's going to be a matter of time before it's 4:30 and dark over here in New England anyway. And
Hmm.
I know we have listeners all over the world. So shout out to anyone who still has daylight at 8 p.m. Please send it our way. And I also do on that note want to say like we are also on the like we're in the midst of these terrible natural disasters going on in the southern United States. My heart really goes out to those people because I know that those folks are being impacted. We don't get a lot of that up here. So, my love and heart goes out to Georgia, North Carolina, all the southern states that are going through it right now.
I checked on all my people that I know in those areas, and thankfully, a lot of them are doing very well. We're not really
Yeah.
impacted by the storm. One of the people I grew up with, she lives in Tampa, and da- down her house, no problem, but two houses down from her, the whole roof caved in.
That's
You know,
wild.
it's
Yeah.
it's so, luckily, none of my people were affected, but definitely you want to, send your prayers and money to help and rebuilding that stuff up, and hopefully these people get the help that they need. And we understand that President Joe Biden, before the storm even hit, said, hey, whatever you need, we got you, as the government. And that depends on their governors whether or not they accept those funds, but most time in natural disasters, governors will take that money. So hopefully they get the help that they need, like ASAP,
Yeah.
and start building.
Yeah.
I think it was what, like Florida, two two summers ago, there was that hurricane and it hit like Fort Myers area, and they still haven't recovered. Like it wiped out the the industry of hotels and houses, and
Mm.
it's still kind of struggling to come back, where you go blocks and it's still empty.
Yeah, someone said this is the worst hurricane we've had since
I
Katrina.
heard. I
Yeah.
heard that it was that bad, and it's amazing how you just don't know when you're tucked away in New England. Like you said, we don't really get bad storms. We haven't had even a bad snowstorm in like decades almost, you know?
Yeah.
So I know we're probably due for something the way climate change is going, but thankfully we haven't had anything too bad. But I did hear too that it was probably like the biggest storm. So, shout out and blessings to them. What else should we our listeners be?
I mean, we're in October, so of course we have some announcements, upcoming events and activities that are going to be happening the rest of this, next 3 months. So October, November, December, we'll be filling you on events, and not just on the podcast, because regardless of whether Shahida and I are, in your ear pods or coming across your Alexa, we're always posting on our socials. So always, follow us on Instagram at Little State Big Voices. Stay on top of our Facebook page. If you're still Facebook and people of a particular age, we still go on the Facebook, and also on TikTok. We're sharing information. We're sharing where to eat, where to have fun, where to vote, where to register, all those good things. We're giving you everything you need to know about what's going on in the next few months.
And shout out to you, because my friends tell me all the time that our Instagram is just ridiculous, and just looking at it, they gain like 5 pounds, because it's amazing Rhode Island, as small as it is, the food here is just like absolutely impeccable. And I guess it's the whole New England area. You cover
Mm-hmm.
the whole New England area, because there are a couple of places in Connecticut that I would like to go to. Massachusetts, of course, always there's always something new, but we really have like a lot of stuff to check out, a lot of restaurants to check out. And I know people are saying like, oh, inflation is high, but those restaurants be doing a lot of
These
business.
restaurant, listen, drinks is 17, $18. People still outside drinking multiple drinks. I'm seeing it with my own eyes. But yeah, Rhode Island has a lot of great culinary offerings. And what's surprising is I don't think we have any Michelin star restaurants. I feel like I Googled it and I didn't
Hmm.
see any, which is fine because I don't need to eat every time at a Michelin star type restaurant. But I do find that we have the variety, we have the themed restaurants, like with the fun little accessories that, I'm not a big hookah person, but I think we could rival Georgia with the amount of hookah that we have here in Rhode Island.
Oh,
But
Georgia
this,
has a lot of hookah places.
well, Atlanta is like the hookah capital.
Oh, see, and I thought it was Rhode Island, because every time I turn around, there's a lot of hookah places around here.
Yeah, lemon pepper and hookah. I think Atlanta is known for that, but we're catching up with them.
Hmm.
But I mean, also lots of restaurants just open up, and I think we really have a good like offering of like out of the box cultural find. So I actually
Hmm.
was going back and listening to some of our older episodes. I started from the very beginning because I kind of wanted to listen back to where we started. And Sydney, actually, our first guest on the show, Sydney Buckhold, mentioned that Rhode Island has so many great culinary offerings. And he's lived on the West Coast, he's lived in the South, he's lived up north. So he's been to, major metropolitan cities. And he said we have one of the best offerings. And when I think like when you think of Latin food, Usually it's Mexican. You know, it might be a Dominican
Mm-hmm.
restaurant, but here we
Usually
have
is Mexican.
Peruvian.
Mm-hmm.
We have like, I mean, we have more of a Puerto Rican, Dominican. We have more of a variety, I think,
I
than a
was gonna
lot of
say
places
that is
have
true.
just within that one particular type of food. And then if you think African food, we've got Liberian, we've got
Mm-hmm.
Nigerian. When you think Caribbean, we have Haitian, we have Jamaican. You know, there I feel like we have much for, and then even within Asian, we've got Cambodian, Laotian, Thai, Chinese, Vietnamese, and a lot of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Rhode Island for the food scene.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of Sydney, he will be back on the podcast. He
Yes,
has
by
some great
popular
projects,
demand.
great projects coming up, and he wanted to talk about it on our. And the fact that he said, "I want to come back and talk about my projects," I felt so honored
Mm-hmm.
because that is, first of all, he's not a media type person, but now you can catch him on social media now, where he wasn't
He's
before.
outside
Right?
now.
He is. He is out all over the place. I looked at I was looking at a couple of events or whatever. I'm like, damn, Sydney, why didn't you invite me?
Right, right, right,
Why
right.
didn't
He
you
went
tell me
from
you were
being in the
going?
house to being outside, and he left the two old ladies.
Hmm.
Sydney, call your aunties, okay? Call your aunties, so we
We
can
want to be
also.
outside too.
We've been going to plays, okay? That's what Shahida and I have been doing. We need to be outside doing other things. We need to turn it up a notch.
I know. Well, outside weather is about to go though.
The plays
We're
have
about
been
to go
amazing though.
into the
Like
winter.
we saw POTUS, we saw Notes from the Field. We've been getting our culture on.
Can we just briefly touch on both of them were great. Both of them were great. POTUS was funny and I loved it. And I think they go until November and it's at Trinity. But Notes from a Field, the emotion I had, they
Yeah.
first of all, uh it's at the Black Magic Theater and we've had both people on our podcast. We had the owner
Fitzwiley,
of Mixed
Jonathan
Magic.
Fitzwiley,
We had
and we also
him,
had Rudy Cabrera. And it's at
who is a comedian,
Mixed Magic Theater.
Rudy, a comedian who was in this play.
He's really a poet though.
I know, but yeah, 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 because we actually had he did talk about both, but just seeing him in that element, it was different from seeing him having him on the podcast. He's talking about his poetry, he's talking about comedy, and and is he a teacher as well? I can't remember.
I
Oh, he's a
don't think
mentor.
so.
He definitely is a
He's
mentor.
right in the art space. He is like
Right.
he's a mentor, absolutely.
But seeing him on the stage and his specific role, one of them, brought me to tears. Like tears, where I was trying to hide emotion. The play was absolutely excellent. And I think it's until the end of October.
Yes, and
It's,
it's pay what you will. So you can
yeah, you
pay what
should
you
go.
will. We highly recommend you donate at least $20 per ticket. I
Mm,
think that because that goes back into funding mixed magic theater and arts programs. But what really shocked me was the, like you said, the emotion that it drew out of you. And then also the retelling of certain historical events
mm-hmm.
that I had one perspective of, but then actually hearing these first person accounts as
Completely
retold
different.
by the
Mm-hmm.
actors, they embodied those characters who are real
Mm-hmm.
people and these are real events. And I mean, they touched on everything from Tupac Shakur's award winning, renowned poetry to,
Mm-hmm.
the Freddie Gray incident where, it
It was
just
a mixture of
it was a lot.
real live play and then some videos that they played, which were made it even more dynamic. But like Tracy said, I did not expect much because you think little theater and people who might be in it. You don't have it. high on your list of being like, Broadway worthy. This was Broadway worthy in my opinion. It
Yeah.
was absolutely excellent.
But we're talking about the Pitts Wiley clan,
Yeah,
like real
he
talk.
directed
I
it.
mean, we should
He
have been
directed
ready.
it, and it was absolutely fabulous. And again, I didn't expect much, but they delivered on all counts. I walked out of there so, and it wasn't me just emotional. Remember that there was a lady behind us who was
Yeah.
sniffing the entire time.
I was hearing audible gasps, audible gasps, audible emotion. Like people were really in their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I left like just I just left with a different perspective on so many situations that I thought I had a point of view on.
And I left with a headache because I was crying so much. And I forget,
Yeah.
I wish I remembered the sister's name, but she sang and she did like two songs or whatever. And
She was what and she played several scenes where she didn't even speak a word of dialogue, and
mm-hmm,
she was so integral to those scenes. She
mm-hmm.
may have played an instrument, or she may have hummed, or
Oh, yeah, yeah.
wild.
Beautiful
Go
voice.
see it.
And what she played, one of her characters was what, Dutch, I think, or
She was Scandinavian. She was a Scandinavian
Scandinavian, and
teacher.
she, had the little accent and everything. It really was beautiful. So I do employ everybody, if you can, like Tracy said, it is pay what you can. But if you can pay more than $10, do so. But if you can't, definitely go and see it, because I think he makes it pay what you can so that you can walk out thinking really hard about what they just put on for you, and have that opportunity to see something that really should be on Broadway. It was really
Right.
excellent, and they
Or
all,
buy a block of
every,
tickets and donate it to some high school students or a
yes,
community group. Bus in, group of people to come and see it, because it is a black owned and run theater. His
mm-hmm,
co-director for this play is actually an Asian woman, if I'm not
mm-hmm,
mistaken. So this is a BIPOC effort. And these are
mm-hmm,
people who've been, doing arts and entertainment for decades, like literally since probably maybe even the late 60s, right? I think Jonathan said
yeah.
so. It's before some of us were even a thought. You know what I mean? They have a grasp on it, and there's it's really good theater. It's excellent theater. So
And they have a wall in one of their gallery sections of like all African Americans that have, contributed to the diaspora. And I walk in, and the first person I see is my aunt from Boston, was the first Supreme Court black justice. And I'm like, is that my aunt? So it's a really nice space, a really nice theater. And if you want to support it, and all areas, I think he has like a sign up sheet too, where you when you go to the play, where you
yeah, you
can
can get on
sign
the
up and
list.
tell what you want to volunteer as. And I don't think I put anything down, but I definitely will, going forward, start thinking about what I can do to contribute to that part of the arts, because I was very impressed, very
A
impressed.
100%. Y'all don't have to keep going to see Hamilton and Nutcracker all the time. There's other stuff you can see. I mean,
It's
POTUS,
true.
that was an all-female cast. Amazing. Incredible. And I laughed harder than I thought I would. I enjoyed it so much more because, and what I think I like about both theaters, like the common thing between both theaters is that they're intimate. So
Yeah.
you literally don't have this stage that's raised above you and,
Mhm.
you're looking up. You're seated basically on the same level almost. If you're, especially in you're in the front row, you're very close to the play itself.
Mhm.
I like that about both events
Yeah.
that we went to. So
Yeah, I've always liked Trinity. I think the first play I ever been to at Trinity was The Bluest Eye by Toni Morris, and that was deep. But this one I did enjoy. It was very funny. So I suggest, I think it is until the end of this month. They have something
yeah.
else playing right now, and I think it's like a mystery theater. type thing, but I can't remember what it was. But definitely go and check that out too. All the women were fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
All the
Even
women were fabulous.
some of them were understudies because some
I
of them were,
know.
and they were, I mean, they nailed it. I couldn't tell
Hmm.
that they weren't doing that every single night.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
So anyway, so that we will wrap up on and
mm-hmm.
see you guys next week with a full episode, and you will see us for the remaining of the year because
Yes,
we are fully back.
with
We
all
missed.
the hot topics. Don't for
Oh.
listen. Don't think we haven't thought about what y'all been thinking about. We know what's going on in the streets. We'll be talking about all that.
Ugh,
Don't worry
too
about it.
much to talk about. Too
Too
much
much.
to talk about. We didn't get a break these last couple of weeks. But
No.
until then, until next week, we will see you on the 13th with a full episode. Have a great week.
Have a good one.